Hey everybody, Psychosaurus is here, and today, oh boy, we got a really big update, and it's really huge, probably the biggest one I've seen so far in Age of Empires Online. We're gonna enjoy this really hard, oh boy. There's a lot of things to talk about. But first, let me tell you, thank you all to my subscribers, because guess what? We finally reached 500. Goddamn. We're there, halfway there to the 1,000. I want to say thank you so much. I truly appreciate this. Let's continue with this work. Let's go on. I honestly, I just am like, I'm moved. Seriously, I I truly thank you for this, and hopefully, yeah, this will last for a while now. Like, I seriously wanna do some more things, so hopefully this is gonna last for a while. And yeah, let's reach that 1K soon enough. Alright, but let's get back to the video. Guess what? A lot of changes. Let's start with this one. So yesterday we got this patch note or changelog or maintenance, whatever, with really huge changes that are coming. And then today we got hotfix. All of this will be in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, let's start. What happened yesterday? So balance changes. Sacred Deer now has 200 food from 250. Okay, small nerf. I don't know about you, but I don't really use Sacred Deer that often as a food source. Maybe I should. But yeah, I'm focused on other things than using Sacred Deer. So for me, it's like, I don't care. But for you, it might matter. Okay, several anti-ranged units changed. This is one big change here. So to keep it short, Greek Peltast, Egyptian Slinger, Celtic Slinger, Persian Takabara, Babylonian Slinger, and Norse Skirmisher got their ranges increased up to 20. All of them. So if you take a look at the Peltast from 12 to 20, Celtic Slinger from 15 to 20, all of them now have 20 base range. So yeah, this was like, let's just say a lot of people were complaining like, hey, those anti-ranged units are not really that good. They could use some buff. And then they were looking at the champion mode where they actually have like some of these changes, like the Peltast is there with the 20 range. Okay, range. I would truly appreciate if Peltast had a little bit lower range, because I feel like their champion upgrade is kind of meh now, because they get extra health there, and with the pierce armor they have, I would rather see them at closer distance than this huge distance, which is actually greater than what Toxotes has. So yeah, I'm kind of like, okay, but do we really need this? From my point of view, I still feel like most of these will just be there, and I don't feel like they will be used as much late game. I still like to use like slingers at least early game, because hey, if you get enough of them, you can like burst enemy legionaries like that in those Roman quests, and yeah, those legionaries are quite annoying there. So for me, like for the early game, they're nice. I think if I had to say so, Peltas kinda needed this, because that's like the one unit you have it in H3. But do you really want to train it? Not really. Most likely you'll go with Toxotes. So I can say like, okay, Peltas can use this buff. I mean, 12 range is really low range, one of the lowest you can find. So for me, I can appreciate some range increase for Peltast, but I would rather go with like the 15 than going to 20 because of the health. For the others, let's just say, okay, it's there. We're gonna have to try out these, but I'm just gonna say I don't feel like Peltas is gonna be really that useful anyway. Celtic Slinger. I mean, okay, Celtic Slingers at least get a huge crit, so I can see them being used somewhat. But I don't think that it's gonna be like Slinger over the Bowman no matter what. I just feel like you'll always find something better than what you're seeing here. Like I can always go Gastras, I can always go like Elephant Archers or Chariot Archers, I can go Bowman, I can okay, for Persians this is like the one exception. For Babylonians, I mean come on, Chariot Archers are there, and soon as you'll see the War Chariots as well are there. And the North Skirmisher, I mean seriously, the only reason you train Skirmisher is to counter ranged. Otherwise the damage is like, it's worse than Villager, that's how I would describe it. So from my point of view, it's a change. Is it gonna make a huge difference? Not really. But I can see like them being used more often if the players finally decide to do so. I just feel like they should have used them before because they were fine before as well. I don't know, okay? The next one is the one I truly like, another big one. Ram type units cost changed. So Greek Battering Ram cost changed to 150 wood, 60 gold, from 250 wood and 80 gold. I'm not gonna read all those prices, just the new prices, okay? Egyptian Siege Tower, 200 wood, 80 gold. Celtic Ram, 50 foot, 120 wood. Persian Battering Ram, 150 wood, 60 gold. Roman Battering Ram, same cost as Persian. Babylonian Siege Tower, 240 wood, 80 gold. Notice Farby Order is missing here, okay? I would love to see some buff for that unit at some point, because I feel like that unit kind of deserves some love in PvE as well. But yeah, let's talk about this change. As you know, PvE players are not really using Battering Rams. Now, why is that? Well, if you take a look at the Rams, and I did some testing with the Rams, I must say they do really good damage. They have pretty good health, which goes really well with their very high pierce armor. So they are definitely great at destroying enemy defenses. Now, what really hurted them a lot were their huge costs. Because look at this. Let's just take the Greek one, okay? 250 wood, 80 gold. If we add it up, that's 330 units of resources for one unit, and that's free pop. So if we go with that, that's 110 units of resources per pop, which is huge. That's actually disgustingly expensive. If we take a look at some units that would actually cost this amount, the only unit that actually costs one pop and costs this amount of units of resources per pop is actually Babylonian Royal Guard. You cannot find anything more expensive, I think. I mean, if I would have to look really hard somewhere, like there are some expensive units, sure, but I don't think they would be that expensive. And so from this you can tell the Rams were just stupidly expensive. For a unit that does only one thing, attacks buildings. Well, we could add soak in pierce damage, but that's part of the job, okay? But yeah, attacking buildings. So from my point of view, the only way to actually buff the Rams without making them stronger, which would be annoying for people when they are dealing with enemy elite Rams, obviously you know that if you've played some quests, that when you have to deal with a Ram, especially in some early quests, like let's say in Pubfos, there is one Battering Ram coming in early. Can you imagine that Ram had like suddenly instead of 2000 health it had 3000 health? Can you imagine that? That would be nightmare, right? So if I had to say, the only way to actually buff them, to make them somewhat usable, was reducing the costs. And Champion mode actually already has that. They already have like these lower costs. So this change, from my point of view, is definitely something I welcome into the game, or at least the PvE part, because I feel like this is the change that can make battering rams much more usable, much more appealing to players. Don't be afraid to use them now. That's what I'm gonna say. Definitely worth. Like, for the power they're bringing in with this price, I can go with that. Okay, because they have to focus the buildings down, and that's it. They do not attack units like the other units. Okay, so definitely, I truly appreciate this change for all this. For the RAM units before, the only one that could be used was like the Babylonian Siege Tower, because guess what? That unit has easily 4,000 health. If you want to, easily can get really good damage. So because of its health, it was very useful actually, because it was able to survive long enough to do some damage. So definitely Babylonian Siege Tower was something that could have been used. So this small buff to it, it's there, but there's even more for the Siege Towers, as we will see later. So for me, great change here. Definitely I wanna do more something with the battering rams here. Okay, and now one big change for one of the less used units. So Babylonian War Chariot. DPS increased to 32 from 20. Bonus versus ranged increased to 5 times from 4 times. Maximum range increased to 20 from 18. Line of sight increased to 22 from 20. Hit points reduced to 575 from 800. Pierce armor increased to 0.5 from 0. So that's a lot of changes to the War Chariots. Now let's go over these, okay? So first of all, DPS increase. This is actually huge, because if you take a look, 32 from 20, that's 60% more DPS. That is actually huge, because I was actually doing some builds with the War Chariots, and let's just say the Sargon War Chariots, where I had like some build, I was able to reach about 100 DPS. So the 60% now means with the same build, I'll be able to reach 160 DPS. And you can tell, this is a huge difference, okay? Remember, with Sargon, they also get splash, so this damage going into the splash is gonna be huge. It's definitely not as strong as the Chariot Archers, because obviously they are cheaper, they just have they're easier to get. Plus the champion upgrade makes them cheaper, so even faster to train. Plus you can start producing them one age sooner. So I would say the Chariot Archers for Babylonians will still stay at the top as one of the best units in the game. But I wouldn't like say, hey, War Chariots are necessarily too far behind. I'm gonna say, after doing Alfheim with these, before it was like over 40 minutes, I think it was like 45 minutes it took me before. With these new chariots, it was a little over 30 minutes. That's a huge difference what this change does. So definitely the damage is gonna be quite notable. The bonus versus ranged, I feel like this was like, with the damage increase over here, I feel like this bonus is like getting up here. It's just it just feels like brutal overkill against the enemy ranged units. That's what it feels like. Maximum range, that means, hey, you can attack sooner, so okay, some damage output is there. Not to mention, hey, you can have like more units attacking at the same time, so that's another good advantage to this. So definitely you can, because you can keep the distance, is you might be able to pull off a few more shots before the enemy units actually reach you. So that's another big plus about this. So overall, better damage output because more units attacking, able to keep the distance. That can help you defensively. So that's a good buff for you. Line of sight, hey, you can avoid some dangers with this. That's also good for you. Now let's go for these defensive stats. So the health is going down by a little over 25% less. And then you're also getting 0.5 pierce armor. When we put this together, that means that the war chariots actually have effectively 1150 pierce health. So that's even more than what they had before. So overall, they are much more better at soaking pierce damage, okay? And I would say this is actually a huge change, because now you shouldn't be really afraid to get near enemy buildings with war chariots, because they are able to soak so much pierce damage. It's incredible. And don't forget, you also get the pierce armor tags. You also get 1 health per second. You get the extra health from the ziggurat. You also get some extra damage there. Oh my god, you get so much from there. But yeah, you get the 1 extra 8 health per second. That goes really well with the armor, and could mean they can take 1 or 2 extra hits, maybe even more, depending. But yeah, this can go really well with that. But yeah, after trying the Alfheim after the change, I'll say I didn't have to replace them that often. Like, sure, they were dying, but if you do it right, you won't really be replacing them that often, which I was surprised by, because I mean, they were taking damage. Yeah, it took them like forever to like die. I had a look at what the war chariot was taking from a tower. They were taking like 30 DPS, and when you have like 1500 health, oh my god, it's just gonna take forever, 1 tower trying to kill a war chariot. So overall, it's a huge buff to the war chariot. What I'm really worried about is what the enemy elite war chariots will do to us now. That's what I'm worried about. But overall, the war chariots are a really strong unit now. Just goddamn. I'm looking forward to doing some more videos with war chariots, not just the boring chariot archers. So definitely you can look forward to some of these in the future. Okay. Another Babylonian unit getting some small buff here. Babylonian Royal Guard Champion. Bonus versus buildings debuff reduced to minus 25% from minus 50%. So yeah, once you get the champion upgrade, your Royal Guards would get this huge attack rate buff, but also they would get a nerf of this 50%. So this is definitely something that is welcome, because I mean, let's be honest, like those Royal Guards suddenly, like, okay, you get 50% more DPS, but you lose like overall 25% DPS against buildings for this. So yeah, Royal Guards being just monsters at slaying the enemy units, but being really terrible at destroying buildings. If I had to say, this is quite welcome, because now I can say, hey, Royal Guards are gonna be dangerous. I wonder how much more viable they'll become. I seriously like Royal Guards. Like really good unit, and like having, okay, they are slow, but that should be their weakness, right? They are slow, but just being so terrible against buildings, I just don't feel like that was right. So from my point of view, I feel like this is a good buff, and I'm definitely looking forward to using some more Royal Guards. So yeah, definitely we're gonna do some Royal Guards in the future as well. Okay, let's move on. Persian Cataphract. Melee infantry armor increased to 0.4 from 0.3. Bonus versus siege increased to 2.5 from 2 times. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. For me, Persian Cataphracts don't really need the buff. And in fact, I feel like this is are gonna hurt us when doing the legendary quest against Persians, because having 0.4 armor base against infantry, oh boy, that's gonna hurt. I mean, of course, you shouldn't do infantry against cataphracts, but hey, they don't need this extra armor, come on. So, from my point of view, the bonus versus siege, it's there, but I don't really care, okay? I don't really care. The infantry armor, oh boy, anybody wanna do FSO now? Oh boy, I don't know. I'm a little bit like, it can help them, but is it gonna help them? Okay, skipping advisor updates, and this is gonna be a huge part, and we're gonna go over these a little bit later. But yeah, to tell you what this is about. Added over 45 advisor reworks and changes. These changes will be highlighted in a dedicated blog momentarily. That blog also will be in the description, so if you want to check it out right away, yo, check the description. Always some useful information there. Okay, bug fixes. Fixed an issue where the quests from the Aiding Socrates legendary quest pack were not included in the legendary quest rotation for the Athens region. So yeah, if you have noticed, during the Athens legendary quest rotation, Socrates quests were not there, okay? Well, New Rebellion and Traitor's quest, they were included, so pretty much just the Athens quest line, but not the Socrates quest pack, okay? So now it should be included as well. Fixed mail read panel being writable. I didn't know you could write in a read panel. Okay. Let's move on. Fixed mail receiver name when composing a new message while visiting a city. Yeah, always visiting a city can be some problem. Fixed mail receiver name when composing a new message while visiting a city. Was it like when I got a message? Oh, whatever. Something got fixed, okay? I'm not gonna go into deep with it, but mail should be fixed. Fixed an issue with the North port where it didn't rotate as intended while placing it in capital cities. Note, users might need to move their existing ports to another location and move it back in order to fix potential visual issues. Yeah, someone was complaining that when trying to move the ports, I don't really move the ports, to be honest, never did that. So never noticed this issue. I guess someone wanted to make a difference. Okay. So yeah, they got it fixed. Okay. Yeah, make sure if you were moving your North ports, make sure to move them now. So you can like put them where you want to. Quest update. Several elite quests Empire points rewards have been adjusted to be consistent with other elite quests for the Empire points from 15. And these quests are Recapturing Midgard, Resistance Assistant, Just Deserts, Invasion of Verona, Invasion of Dunum, Liberating Thebes, Liberating Fayum, Liberating Giza, Liberating Dashur. And if I'm not mistaken, this is because these quests, actually, if you did play the normal version, the repeatable version, you would get more Empire points than from the Elite version. And I think for those it would be 20, and when you switch to Elite you would be getting 15, which, let's be honest, does not look right. When you're playing harder version but you're getting less, that does not feel right. Okay, champion mode changes. Let's be honest, I don't really want to go through these, but okay, let's keep this fast. Elephant archers, 1 second train time down. Ptolemai's spies, cheaper, faster research. Celtic bowman, 1 less DPS. Sacred deer, same as above. Gift of Sequana grants 30% healing from 40. Gift of Morrigan grants 25% damage boost from 30%. Global Silver Age cost reduced to 300 from 350 for all resources. No research time change, same for the Temple of Sets and Celtic Silver Age being reduced to 400. Golden Age going down to 1000, 1800 from 1200 the free resources and 800 stone. Same goes for Ptah. Got a golden age going to 1200 and 800 stone. Okay, fortress cost reduced to 350, 450. Egyptian North forts have 450, 300. Okay, that's the champion mode, so pretty much just some small changes. Oh boy, I am not going through those because I don't know why they are happening. Okay, UI updates, fixed server inconsistencies between the quest rotation UI's displayed values and the actual rewards handed out by the server. Yeah, there were a few rotations giving more than actually the UI was saying. Okay, I did mention that, I did report that, because it's not right. You're getting 100% more than you should. So yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, display trait preview now also works on docs. Default hotkey Shift plus Z. If you remember, hey, if you are placing the market, if you press the Shift plus Z, it will show you like the values depending on the TC, and those values will tell you, hey, you're getting this amount of gold from that TC. So for now, it also works for the docs, or at least it should work for the docs. So that's definitely some nice quality of life improvement there. Okay, other updates. Tarsus has been temporarily removed from the quest rotation system's possible regions. We'll see about that. Don't know why. Maybe because lower bonuses for free quests. Maybe something will be done to Tarsus. Who knows? We'll see about that. Bahram's bulk bundles material stack size and price adjusted to match the new maximum stack size for materials. If you remember previous patch, we got the stack sizes increased, and I still have to question why that has happened. I just feel like, okay, you need to work with the inventory space here as well, because goddamn, it's also another resource. It's not too obvious, but yeah, it's another resource, like inventory space. Come on, you have to work with that. Why did they increase the stack size? I don't know. Grand Architect Master's Masterpiece and Grand Architect's Masterpiece Capital City Decoration can now be built by all civilizations. Well, we had a little bug there, and that should be fixed, okay? But yeah, you should be able to build those. Previously, these were available to Celts only. So now, hey, enjoy. You can build those anywhere you like. Several Bahram's lottery gear stats updated. So Bahram's branded arm guard cost increase reduced to 13.8%, so reduced by 2%. Now also grants plus 52.7% line of sight. So yeah, people are complaining about this item being too bad, and that you don't really want to put it even on ranged units, which, if you don't know, from this point of view, it looks more obvious. Yeah, you should be putting this on your ranged units, because hey, maximum damage output for them. But overall, the difference between those two items was not that big. Okay, so some players would rather prefer the boots over the arm guard. So for me, I don't care. I don't want Bahram's items. Come on, they too strong. I don't want that. Bahram's best battle armor movement speed increased to 5.9% from 2.1%. This one was, so it's more obvious that it's better, or rather that it's more obviously better than the Ashoka's armor, okay? Because that difference between Ashoka and this item was like so small, and then getting just 2% movement speed. So this one is making it a little bit more obvious, okay? That's about it. Bahram's beloved bow. I just don't know why this item would need that buff, because like cost reduction increased to minus 10.1% from 9.9%, which is like, okay, it's there, it's so small, but still 10% discount. Come on, that's a huge discount. You can put it on your TCs, you can put it on your castellums. If you want to, you can put it on your fortresses. But now you're also getting trained research rate 2.9%. Oh my god. It's not that huge, but it's gonna definitely make some small differences here and there. So yeah, these items are just stupidly strong, if you ask me. No matter what, I'm not gonna take them. No, they're just too strong. I don't want them. Okay, 2 new epic reinforced constructions have been added to lootables. Walls of Severus, cost minus 3.1%, health 61.6%. Royal Babylonian fortifications, build time minus 5.1%, health plus 61.6%. These 2 items are available at levels 36 through 40. So, to explain why these were added, actually, at level 40, if you take a look at what the epic walls were available, let me put it here. So, epic reinforced construction. If we take a look here, that is level 40. You can see this one purchasable, this one craftable. This is the new item, okay? Walls of Titans, this is the new item. Crete, and that's it. At level 40, you had only walls of the Titans being droppable. Whatever did I just say? Ignore that. Droppable, okay? You could get only Wall of the Titans, and suddenly, hey, when there's like a lot of epic items dropping and you're getting a lot of reinforced constructions, the only thing you're getting are Wall of the Titans, nothing else, okay? And that was quite annoying when you think about it. Like, I would rather see this being droppable, but okay, people are complaining, hey, between like the legendary reinforced constructions such as the Walls of the Architect, the Roman Concrete, you don't have really anything before those. And let's be real, you don't really have anything before those. For build time, you had like earthen walls, which are level 30. And I think if we go, hang on, let me delete this. If we go with cost, so now we have the walls of Severus. This one, bronze sheeted, and then this one, superior imperial fortifications. So for cost, before Walls of the Architect or Hadrian's, you had only this at Spartan Fortification Store. Well, you had this, but not with huge discount as this one. Or you kept the Novices Engineered Braces if you had started with the non-pro civ. And now you can see why this one is like kept until level 40, until you get like the Walls of the Architect. You don't really have or rather, you didn't really have anything before that. So this should fill a gap. And still, the Novice Engineer Braces still have better discount. What the heck? Seriously, guys, if you are creating those premium civs, keep these. Keep these, seriously. You're not getting better discount until Walls of the Architect or Hadrian's Walls. Seriously, keep these. They're really strong. But yeah, this is to fill the gap a little bit, plus have more options at level 40 to be dropped than just the Titans Walls. And now backend changes. Fixed an issue preventing users from entering their email addresses using non-lowercase characters. Okay, that was just small technical detail. Then we got these hotfixes which you can go through. I'm not really going to go through these because, hey, they're just small changes, and usually it's just fixing the things so they're working properly for these changes. But yeah, let's go for this main topic, which is gonna be the advisor changes. And we're going through this blog. Again, everything will be in the description so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, first thing we have about the quest rotations here, so we're gonna skip this because, hey, I did video about this before, so we can ignore that. We're going for advisor reworks and changes, and there's a lot of them, as we saw, 45 plus. Okay, let's read this. With the help of the community, we have come up with a ton of changes and reworks to several advisors across the span of 4 different streams on my Twitch channel PF2K. You can find the details of these changes below. Thanks to everyone who helped. So yeah, if you were on the PF2K stream, so you most likely knows about some of these changes. If you haven't been, hey, community has been discussing it there. There have been some of the blogs before. If you remember, I did react to one blog with full of nonsense changes by Frog Poison. Oh my god, I just couldn't believe what I was reading there. Oh my god. But yeah, let's get to this, because there are some quite interesting ones and some I feel like didn't really need this. But yeah, let's go through these. Coverage, and notice this is the first time we don't have the graphics because there's a lot of them and it was in such a short amount of time. So yeah, if there was more time for this, we could probably have those, but yeah, it would be just too much work. Let's go through this. So coverage, number 1, Odysseus. Additional effect: barracks, castellums and their units cost 10% less. So if you remember Odysseus, before this, it was barracks and castellums cost 15% less. Not really an advisor anyone would really pick because, hey, usually in PvE, you already start with 1 barracks, so no need to get your early barracks because you already have the early barracks. And getting the another barracks, like usually you don't get the second one that early, right? Like once you have enough resources, you just build it. But there are so many better advisors than Odysseus. Like you could go Irene, save a lot more resources, plus you're getting those techs sooner thanks to her. So why not just go Irene? And literally like 15% from barracks, that's like 30 units. I pick Irene. I'm gonna grab the farming upgrade and already saved more. I'm gonna grab the gold mining. I save like more than double of that, okay? So that was the difference. So for Odysseus, it was not really that useful before. But now, okay, for the barracks castellums, it's not that good still. It's it's actually worse. What's really interesting to me though is the fact that it also reduces the cost of units trained at barracks and castellums, and definitely keep an eye on the discounts so it's sure that everything there is affected properly. But yeah, the units being cheaper, that's actually the one big thing about this advisor now, and why I wanna really keep an eye on this advisor for now. Making your units cheaper by 10%. And when we think about it, there's actually a lot of good barracks units that we can train. If we go, let's say Greeks, usually you want to go like some meat shield with some backline. What I usually do, Hippaspist plus Ballista. So having the Hippaspist 10% cheaper can be really good because, hey, I can save few units on my economy. Suddenly I can have slightly greater army, or I can get a little bit more units before I reach the end game and start pushing and destroying the enemy bases. So for my defenses, hey, I can get more units. So from my point of view, this advisor is not really that strong early, but it definitely helps early. What I'm really interested in, this advisor is gonna scale pretty well into the late game, if you ask me. I just mentioned Greeks. Let's talk about like Egyptians. Well, Egyptians most likely will not use this advisor because their units already are very cheap. Plus they already have Priestess of Ra, so I don't think Egyptians are gonna be using this that much. But I can definitely see Celts. Guess what? Cheaper votes, cheaper champions, cheaper longswords, cheaper Spearman. Hey, all of these units are pretty good. You can spam them. So I would say Odysseus here can be really nice. Let's go with, okay, Persians. Probably not. It can help, but I wouldn't say it's gonna be like your choice there. Romans, that's most likely possible choice. Guess what? People like to go legionaries, so that can work. You can go Ekes as well, that can work. Spearman only quests, okay, that's nice. Probably still gonna pick Leonorius over Odysseus for the Spearman only quests. But hey, legionaries, Ekes, that sounds nice. Norse, damn. Cheaper berserks, 10% cheaper berserks. Just so much, nice. Babylonians, hey, cheaper royal guards. This goes really well with the change of royal guards before, right? Hey, much cheaper. Remember, 110 units per unit. Oh boy, that discount is gonna be huge there. Oh, that's nice, right? Yeah, so from my point of view, definitely want to keep an eye out on Odysseus. Definitely gonna like him at some point, but question is if the other advisors are still not gonna overshadow him that much, because overall he's gonna scale really well into the late game. But for the early game, that's rather more questionable. But yeah, definitely want to try him out a few times. Let's move on. Lucky Lookout Leucon. Rework. Scouts move 40... Okay, I'm not gonna read all the values, okay, just the epic ones. So 40% faster, are 200% more resistant to pierce damage, and have 50% more health. Watch post and outpost cost 75% less. So yeah, Leucons got changed again. And let's be honest, I don't really feel like picking Leucon just so I have this one scout running around for a while. In some cases this can be nice, but I just feel like not really gonna work for me. And what's making this even more annoying, remember, he affects Wemunder and Biorix in the City Conquest City Defense quest. Okay, so if you have your Wemunder or Biorix running around, hey, Leucon can help you. If you don't have any other H1 advisor for you, Leucon is your number one choice there. Believe me, looking at the Biorix with 200% more pierce armor, oh boy, those Toxotai and Sarisophorai are not gonna kill him anytime soon, okay? And if I have to, I just run away. Sure, watch posts and outposts being cheaper, that can be nice only for Norse, if you ask me, because hey, getting those dogs out sure can be nice, but still need to pay that food. So from my point of view, this is gonna be still useful only in City Conquest, City Defense. For scouts themselves, I just feel like I'm not gonna say that the advisor is bad. I'm just asking why should I pick him over anything else when economy means more for me. Sure, there could be some quests like having the tough, resilient scout can be nice while he's also running around more, much faster. It can be nice in some quests, but I just feel like I'm not really gonna pick Leucon. Could be nice in some quests, but I just don't think he's gonna be that good, to be honest. Yeah, let's move on. Prince Niall Muikmeron, buff and additional effect. Well, buff and additional effect. I would just say additional effect, okay? Storehouses and ox carts cost 75% less, build train in 50% less time. That's the same. New part and research upgrades 75% faster. So I'll be honest, this upgrade does so little in my opinion. Let's be honest, if you haven't picked Muikmenon before, I just don't think you're gonna pick him afterwards. Because what's the point, okay? Like, If you're someone like me, I really like to have like storehouses or ox carts very cheap, because then hey, you're not really like too hesitant about building them, and you should definitely build them, especially when putting your villages on wood. You just don't want to go the long distances, and I just feel like Muikmenon is really useful there. However, usually you get a lot of discount pieces of gear or maybe like milestones to make those storehouses even cheaper. So at that point, the advisor kinda loses the reason to be picked. I'm not saying he's bad, but it's just later it's not that great to pick him, to be honest. I still like him though. It's just it's not as effective as the other advisors there, in my opinion. And the research faster. Let's be honest. If you can't afford them, you're not gonna research them anytime soon. And just getting them like, well, before the hotfix, it was research rate, so this was like 13 seconds sooner, which is not bad, but really 13 seconds sooner means, hey, my 5 villagers gather just a little bit more of food from the gooseberry bushes, like, okay, 20% more for 13 seconds. I just don't feel like that's a huge buff, to be honest, okay? I just feel like this buff, although it's a nice thing, it's just not gonna be that huge deal no matter what. Let's be honest, if you're picking Wickman 8 for the discount, that's the main reason. This one, and there's another thing, you can have so many ox cards with him already, like, you're not gonna research that many tags in a row from the same building. Why? Because you already have like 20 of them up and ready. Why not just use them? So yeah, that's why I kind of feel like this upgrade is not gonna really be that huge deal. Let's move on. Rockhound Erastos buff. Villagers gather stone faster 25% from stone mines. That's the same part, okay? This is not changed. Carry 50% more and have 100% more conservation. So these values have been doubled. From my point of view, carry capacity is not really a huge buff, because if you build your storehouses properly next to the stone mine, you won't really notice any difference with this carry capacity, only that the drop-offs are happening later. That's what I feel like, okay? The most important part is the conservation. This was from the Frog Poison's blog. He was arguing with this like it's better to pick Cleon and mine the gold and that you can buy the stone, that you buy even more. I don't really agree, because he was, first of all, he was using like H3 at least, where you have the market tax for the buy sell penalty, you know, the coinage and the other one. So he was using that, and last one was, to me it seemed like he was already using the maxed out prices. So if we are using the H3, I have to say that we still have the stone mining tax that also grant conservation. So even though he was saying like that you get like 720, well, great, but I can get like 750, well, actually more, with just a 50% conservation. So I was still getting more stone. In some cases, I would be getting even more if I got the golden age tax, which, yeah, those happen late. At that point, you don't really need that much stone unless you're building the defenses. But before that, hey, if I have the silver age tech, I will be definitely getting more stone than he was claiming. So from my point of view, this update is kind of was kind of unnecessary. If you ask me, carry capacity is not really gonna be that useful. Stone conservation, congratulations, you have more stone. Enjoy more stone. That's what I'm gonna say. So overall, I don't really care. Okay, I just feel like it's unnecessary. But let's move on. Netmaker Alpep, and this one almost didn't happen. Okay, Buff. Villagers gather food 15% faster, which is the same value if I remember correctly. Faster from fish, berry bushes, and huntable animals, and have 40% conservation. So this was increased from 30%. Let's be honest, using huntables is already one of the best food sources that you have. The only thing that's problem with huntables is how limited they are. For a good reason, they are the fastest food source you have there. Well, outside of fishing with your fishing boats. But hey, if you have like only short fish and you don't want to build those docks and then spend the wood on the fishing boats, you most likely can use the villagers for this. And let's be honest, if you have enough of the natural food sources outside, like the huntables, the berry bushes, this guy is really useful. But okay, people were like, he's still not that good. I'll be honest, I found him very good. Actually, I found him like a really strong advisor. His only problem is you need those early food sources around. That was the only problem. So, from my point of view, the conservation buff is gonna be really nice, especially when we're talking about the huntables, okay? I'm just gonna say, I don't really care about this buff. It's a small buff, but I don't think it's gonna hurt. And why did I say that this almost didn't happen? Well, PF2K was like, I don't really want to do this. Is this gonna be necessary? But I was like, hey, we were talking about this, and I was like, okay, does he really need buff? I was like, in my opinion, he's really good, but I think that increasing the conservation doesn't really hurt. So that's why we got the 40%. Hey, we got 40%. And that's all from the H1s. So from my point of view, let's be honest, Odysseus is the most interesting one here. Like, Leucon, it's interesting, but I'm just gonna say Odysseus for me is winner here. Let's move on to Bronze Age. Okay, Infantry Sergeant Heraclides buff. Infantry units cost 15% and train 15% in 15% less time. This was increased from 12%, and oh boy, this is the old value we had long time ago, which was just 15% discount. Now we are getting to this point where we have 15% train time as well included. So from my point of view, did I really need that buff? I would say not really, but it's definitely something that can help them to be picked more often. And honestly, I was trying them before the changes, and to me it feels like they were good, but it was like I didn't really feel like that they are better than, like, let's say Thought, for example, because I don't know, Thought helps you with getting the economy up and running faster thanks to food discount on all units. So that means, hey, villages are cheaper, hey, caravans are cheaper, plus they're trained faster, so you can get the eco boom out fast. Just that, okay? Well, just spending my resources on infantry, if I spend the infantry, yeah, okay, but it takes a while longer to get there. So I definitely can say, okay, I can appreciate this buff. And let's be honest, this was the very first buff where it was 15% discount. So from my point of view, definitely should be 15%. I'm not against it. With the addition of train time, yeah, that can be nice. We'll see about that. How much more picked are they gonna be? Because this one includes also Timon and Hermolaus. Hermolaus, same values for cavalry units. Timon actually has 20% for ranged units. Now, why Timon has it more? Because you don't really care about the cost for ranged units. Why? Because you're not really using the ranged units that often. Once you train them and you have the critical mass, you're not really losing that many ranged units, okay? You're just killing everything. And at that point, Guyana is just going to be better. So this should help the ranged units to be more, how would I say it? To give you a reason, pick Timon over Guyana. That's how I would say. Is it good enough reason? We'll see. In some cases, might be a good reason. We'll see about that. Okay, Lord Elkine Muikmeron. Rework. All units and upgrades cost 20% less gold. Now, before that, it was 20% less gold, but only units, and also 5% train time. So upgrades cheaper. This actually can be really huge, because what upgrades are we gonna include here? That's storehouse upgrades, town center upgrades, including age-ups. This can be armory tax, which is not a small amount when we talk about those, because you start like 150, that's already 30 gold for the first tier, 60 gold for the second tier, 120 for the third tier. Yeah, that gold amount is just gonna add up really fast. So definitely huge change. I just have to ask, is it gonna be worth picking over Xeno or Nanos, as some players like to do go with the caravan meta? Nah, screw that. I like Muikmenon a lot. I mean, for Xeno to be better, you would need a shorter distance. Okay? Or what am I saying? Okay, if you have the shorter distance, you're not getting the full gold trade capacity. Then Xeno is gonna be better if you get the 30% extra gold. Muikmenon, otherwise, it's gonna be better all the time, because hey, this is like possibly getting another 25% more gold. I'm not joking, that's how it is. That's how it is. Yeah, it's just like passively having 25% more gold, and that's just not only the caravan. This is also gold mining included. Okay, so I would say Muikmenon might be the best advisor because for the gold income right now. It's affecting all the units, all the tax. Yeah, I seriously want to see how Muikmenon is gonna work out now. Definitely want to pick him more often. Village Elder rework. Villagers train in 20% less time. Before, it was 15% for villagers and caravans. So, from my point of view, Village Elder was not really that big. Why? Because, hey, you produce a lot of villagers, you produce a lot of caravans, but once you have them all, he does nothing. So, from my point of view, Village Elder is a pretty good advisor, but he's good while he is being effective, while he has the effect. Once you're done, and let's say without him, if the player without him reaches the same amount of villagers caravans, at that point he lost the effect and he's now being a waste of advisor slot. So that's kind of a problem of Village Elder. And while you keep producing the villagers, he's strong. After that, yeah, he's terrible. He's trash. So overall, I think he's good advisor, but it's like turning from great advisor to trash advisor, so average advisor overall. This should help with the villager production. Why? Because if you wanted to produce caravans, you would not go with Village Elder. You would go with either Doomnorix or with Xeno. And Xeno also had the train time reduction for caravans. So I definitely am happy that Village Elder is now all about villagers. And I definitely want to see like using Village Elder plus Agathon. So having like those cheap villagers going out really fast. Definitely looking for that. I definitely want to see this in action. So I like this change. And if you remember old Village Elder, he was like minus 8%. How far did he go? From 8% to 20%. And that's a huge change. It's like 25% more villagers in the same amount of time. Okay? So 25% more, hey. Hey, instead of 4, you have 5. That's huge. That's a huge difference. Okay, so I definitely want to try out more of the Village Elder. Definitely looking forward to that. But like I said, he's gonna be great early, but terrible late game. And that still applies to him. I should definitely make a video about like showing the effectiveness of the advisors, because that can be very interesting. Okay, let's move on. Herbal Healer Higginus buff. Infantry units regenerate 3 health every second. So 1 more extra health. I'm gonna keep this short. It's pretty much to put it on the same level as Narmer with the 3 health per second for cavalry units. This one is for infantry. I would say for infantry it's actually stronger than for cavalry, because it's most of the times it's easier to have more infantry units, and if you have more of them damaged, yeah, they can use the health regen much better than cavalry units. So having this buff, I would say this is pretty nice. But from my point of view, I think this is good buff if you have just started with the Civ. You have Higginus, so make your infantry units really strong. But once you reach like level 40, start doing the legendary quest, the 3 health per second is not really gonna matter that much, and there will be like better options than Higginus. So from my point of view, not really making any difference. Maybe he's gonna be picked a little bit more in like higher level quests, but overall I just feel like in the end game is not gonna be picked anyway. Engineer Cyric, whatever. New effect: buildings are 40% more resistant to crush and bonus damage. That's the old effect, and have 20% more health. And this one, I know he's just about defenses and just to have more health, which actually works against everything, not just the specific damage types. Okay, at least he will have the effect right from the get-go, because let's be honest, crush damage in Bronze Age, I can't think of a single unit that has crush damage. Maybe we could find something, but the crush damage usually starts in Silver Age, and that's like fire ships, rams, Scorpios for the Romans. That's it. And like, yeah, this is advisor against rams, but we have him already in Bronze Age. Why do we have advisor that is actually useful in Silver Age, but we have him in Bronze Age? So like, I get it why this effect is added. I just feel like you're not really gonna pick him anyway, because how many times do you actually need this? Usually you don't really want enemy units hitting your buildings unless it's your walls. And for walls, we have Bess. Come on. Bess makes your walls much more cheaper. Like seriously, you could build 3 times the amount of walls with just Bess, and they also have the 20% more health. Like, come on, Bess is so much better for walls. Still, I'm gonna say it, I would rather have Bess. But if we don't have access to walls, then we have to use something else. Usually fortresses. So I can see this guy being used if we are like using fortresses for defense. But I'm asking, are we really gonna sacrifice the H2 economy advisor because of fortresses? Really? I'm not gonna say, hey, this advisor is necessarily bad. It's just, I don't find that many uses for him. That's what I'm gonna say. Let's move on. Royal Treasurer Badia buff. Buildings built in 60% less time, but cost 12% more. So before it was 40%, and let's be honest, you couldn't really feel the difference. Like, if your buildings cost more, you spend more time on gathering the resources, then that build time would just make it equal. That's what it felt like to me. Unless you already had a lot of resources from the beginning, so you would just set up your buildings really fast. Really not useful advisor. I feel like 60% is too much. If you ask me, that's like seriously huge amount of build time saved. So I definitely want to see how this guy is gonna work out, but I just don't think he's gonna be that good anyway. But we'll see, we'll see. It's a huge number though. I could see him maybe in few cases, but we'll see. Let's move on. Queen Katimandua. Additional effect. Druids and Ogres train in 40% less time, have 40% more health. That's the old effect that stayed. Move 30% faster and heal 30% farther. So healing range. I mean, people are complaining about druids not keeping up with the horsemen. My advice? Micro them. God dang it. Come on, micro them, right? Like seriously, just move them, micro them. You can do that. Come on, it's just select the units and send them there. Come on. It's not that hard. You just need to make your hand move. Come on. So from my point of view, I mean seriously, it's H2 advisor. I'm still not gonna pick her because I feel like there are better units to be picked. But okay, if you want those druids or those ogres, I mean seriously, this is more about the druids than the ogres. You use druids in combat. Why? For the damage buff. That's the obvious reason. So definitely druids buff. But because it's Bronze Age, I just don't feel like picking it. Why would I pick this? No, I don't want to. But okay, if you feel like trying it, go ahead. I don't think it's necessarily bad advisor. I just feel like there's a lot of numbers here. And some of them are like really big. Okay, Camel Rider Userhead, rework. I guess that's correct wording here. Camel Riders deal 30% more damage, deal 30% bonus damage against cavalry units, and have 30% more health. So the change is that before it was 30% bonus damage against cavalry and having 30% cavalry armor. And this one is just going straight for the damage and health. And then also having the bonus damage. I just feel like this, to make camels good, people just have to overstat them. Come on, that's a lot of stats. Remember Tisamenos having health and pierce armor? And he is H3, okay? And then we have Akikorios, H4, just giving 30% health. And then we have H2, giving 3% damage, 30% bonus damage, and 30% more health. Like, what the heck, man? Come on. Why do we need to overstat everything? I hate this. Oh my god. Yeah, definitely go try camels. Come on, go try camels. Honestly, before they did not necessarily feel too bad. The only thing bad about camels, in my opinion, is the fact that buildings can be hard to deal with because they don't really have the highest damage to deal with the buildings. And then infantry can be quite annoying. So for camels, it would be best to like add some support from backline. But what are we gonna use, right? Because of the buildings, I would rather love to use catapults, but obviously catapults are slow. So if we want to move the army, yeah, there's a lot of things there to make it harder. So then we could go with like chariot archers, which is pretty reasonable. Hey, same building production. Okay, we can do that. Advisor H4. Camels don't have H4 advisor. Yeah, I think it's definitely something I wanted to see for a while. And that's camel with some backline, most preferably the chariot archers. So definitely I want to see this more often because they go really well together. Camels countering the cavalry, countering the ranged units, countering siege somewhat, and then having the chariots counter the infantry. That can be nice. just dealing with the buildings. That's the problem, and the fact that the chariots cost 3 pop and camels cost 2 pop. Oh boy. Yeah, I just want to see more of the camels, okay? Try them out, guys. Try them out. Definitely worth something to keep an eye on. Okay, Berosus the Wise buff. Ziggurat cost 50% less, Train Priest and Research upgrades 50% faster. The buff here is that the Ziggurat cost goes up to 50%, before it was 20%. So yeah, if you're going for Priest builds, building those Ziggurats should be much easier for you as Babylonian. That's pretty much it. I don't really care. You build one Ziggurat or you go Priest spam. If the Ziggurats are suddenly cheaper, I mean, honestly, going down to 100 food, 100 wood, 200 resources, that's a cheap temple if you ask me. But yeah, it's okay change, I don't really care. Okay, let me have a drink here. Jeez, too many changes. Okay, moving on to Silver Age. So that looks like we're halfway there, huh? We haven't seen the Golden Age yet. Jesus. This is like 1/3. Okay, Hardjar Commander Havard. Rework. Hardjars are 30%, or sorry, 35% more resistant to pierce, crush, and splash damage. So basically the change is, instead of building faster, hey, we're just more resilient to crush and splash damage, which is nice thing. Honestly, I like hard jars. I like them as a meat shield. The issue I have with hard jars is, what do I use as a backline for them? That's the problem. In Silver Age, okay, I have Howard Silver Age, but what do I use behind them? Bowman? Come on, I don't have the advisor for the range from Silver Age now. So not happening. Skirmishers, are you serious? So the only other reasonable option is the lock thrower. So yeah, hard jars with lock thrower, that's what I'm gonna say. Use those. Come on, hard jars now better tanks. Pierce armor was already there. Crush, that means, hey, they are more resistant to enemy siege units. Some of the enemy bolts as well, but yeah, most likely you'll see something like catapults, onagers. Even the Scorpios, that can be nice actually. So definitely worth trying out some hard jars somewhere, sometime. And the splash damage, I mean, there's quite a few units with splash damage. This can work against elephants, which is a nice thing actually. If we are going with hard jars, we're gonna have some number of those, and they will be close to each other. So against elephants, that's actually really nice. Again, we can go against the siege, so catapults, ballista, onagers, to get a crush plus splash damage resistance. That can work really nicely. You might not be losing that many hard jars after all. So for me, I like this change. Definitely good change. Definitely want to go more with hard jars, but I need the log throwers for that. And definitely nice to combine with Chief, okay? With the extra health, if we use the Zahak's axe for the health regen, definitely nice thing. So yeah, definitely go use Havard with hard jars. It's gonna be nice. Ging Batanatos got, okay, it's not mentioned here, but there's a small buff to him, or rather change. Guard towers attack 15% faster, can be upgraded 2 additional times. Walls can be upgraded an additional time. So the change here is that we get 1 more upgrade for tower. And I'll be honest, I would rather see Batanatos in Golden Age, because both of those upgrades are happening in Golden Age. So I seriously hated that he's in Silver Age. I mean, it gives good reason to that you can, because now you can combine him with Darius in Golden Age and have like really good towers. But I'm like, can I move him to Golden Age because those two upgrades are happening in Golden Age? But yeah, if we're talking about the two additional times, if you have played like a really long time ago during the Microsoft days with the old tech tree, which is like a long time ago, you remember that towers had, if I remember correctly, 3 upgrades in total you could have unlocked, which was like, if you take a look at Greeks, yeah, you have the basic tower, the wooden one, then you have the second tower, which is like, how would I describe it? Well, the red roof, some wood, and then like the full stone. And then there would be one more upgrade where the roof would be like this, what do you call it? The sphere, yeah. It's like semi-sphere. So that would be, you can actually find that during the Halloween event. If you play Don't Let Bahram Be Embalmed, I think it's called, the quest. Yeah, you can find that quest there. You can find those towers there. So this upgrade actually allows you to get that last upgrade now. So yeah, you wanna see how the golden towers would look for the Celts? You can actually, I think you can still find those in Celtic quests in some scenarios. I don't remember where exactly, but there might be some cases. I think most of the times you can see the silver ones, but the golden one are, I guess, in the more difficult ones. I don't remember where exactly, but yeah, I think you can find them there. Let's be honest, I want him to be Golden Age because goddamn those upgrades are happening in Golden Age. Before that, you just have one more upgrade for walls and the towers attacking faster. And the main thing is happening in Golden Age. So that's why I want him in Golden Age. But okay, we get one more upgrade for this. Is he gonna be paying? Maybe in some specific scenarios, but not really, right? Who cares? Okay, Gladius the Glorious rework. All military units cost 30% less food and wood. And I seriously hate that PF2K can changed it at the last moment and didn't add the gold cost increase. God damn, that would be such an interesting advisor. When it's like this, okay, discount for all units, less wood. I'm like, it's so boring, just discount. If there was the gold increase, damn, that would be so interesting. Because suddenly, hey, these units are cheaper. But these are much more cheaper because they don't cost that much gold. That would be so interesting. That would be so good, like spearmen, legionaries, I don't know, like the ranged units, the siege units. That would be so interesting. With this, everything is just cheaper. So boring. Is it a good advisor? Definitely, I find him a very good advisor. Like for Silver Age, that's a really huge discount. And like the food, wood, I mean, come on, that's your legionaries cost less, your Ekkas cost less, spearmen cost less, onagers will cost less, Scorpios, rams, just everything cheaper. Oh my god, such a huge discount. Okay, definitely good advisor. If it's worth picking over these advisors or these advisors, that's up to you. But from my point of view, right now it's a very strong advisor. I just wish that the gold cost would be there. That would be so huge. That would be so interesting. This is just straight boring. Engineer Farzana rework. Siege towers attack 50% faster, deal 50% more damage, and have +1 area when using their ranged attack. So this is huge, but I have to ask, who the hell suggested +75% and +2 area? I wanna know who the hell was the dude that would suggest something like this. Cause goddamn, I saw those numbers and I was like, oh my god, what, are you serious? Why would you do that? And even with this 50%, I seriously had to say, hey, you need to put this down. This is too much. Even the 50%, guys, I'm seriously mad that it's even 50%. Because this is huge. Like 50%, come on, that means those siege towers will have 225% more total damage when using the ranged attack, which is huge, more than double the damage, or not damage, but DPS. Because goddamn, it's just too much. Okay, I know nobody wants to use the ranged attack because it's such a waste. So with this, I can kind of get it that hey, it's gonna be more useful. And with the splash, hey, it might be easier to hit some buildings with this as well. So great to combine it with Amethyst in H4, yeah. So those range attacks also destroy buildings, because why not? With the fact that siege towers are also cheaper. Yeah, damn, we're going for some vroom vroom again. We're going for vroom vroom. I don't care. I'm just gonna take the siege towers, load it with villagers for just villages. I don't care. Easy to build forward siege workshops. And we're just gonna go like 4 siege towers. Come on, that's gonna work out. That has to be powerful. We're going for a vroom vroom. Come on. I want to see this in action. That it's just gonna be straight stupid. I'm telling you, it's gonna be straight stupid. But I want to see. Camel Whisperer Hathor rework. Cavalry units deal 15% bonus damage against siege and ranged units, and are 15% more resistant to pierce and crush damage. So before it was just the damage part, and it was 20%. Now it's 5% less. And we also get pierce and crush armor. So, from my point of view, Hathor before, I would say it was rather niche advisor to pick. Like, I wouldn't say she was necessarily bad, she was pretty good, but how often would you actually need the extra damage against ranged or siege? Because most of the cavalry units just don't have problems with those units. So, from my point of view, okay, it's a nerf that is not really gonna matter. What's really gonna matter to me is the pierce and crush armor. Well, maybe not even the crush armor, but the pierce armor. Because I can definitely find few cavalry units that could use some extra pierce armor. For example, camels can definitely use some extra pierce armor because they get only from their champion upgrade and then the armor attacks, but they start with 0, so definitely can be nice to combine with camels. Definitely can use it with prodromos because that unit starts with 0 pierce armor as well, so that's another good example. Could be useful with, let's say, cataphracts because they also start with 0. Sure, they have the champion upgrade giving them, but the champion upgrade is expensive, so definitely can work with them as well. And I guess Gallic Horsemen as well, because they also have 0 armor. There are quite a few cavalry units with 0 base pierce armor. For the crush armor, well, most of them already have 0.5. So crush armor, who really cares? Okay, the only unit that can really use this, Psychosaurus. That's the only unit that has 0 crush armor, and is cavalry. So I would say pierce armor is nice, and that's gonna be it because I have nothing else to say. I like this changed a little bit, but I'm gonna say, is it gonna be worth picking over some other advisors? I would say depends. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how she works out. Engineer Ligeia, rework. Siege units cost 25% less and move 15% faster. I just hate that Ligeia went from the train time to movement speed. I just hate this. Come on. Because this, like, goes against Titus a little bit, because Titus also gives movement speed, but only to ram units. So yeah, I kind of dislike that it's like it's crossing that line. I kind of hate it. And then another thing that I truly hate, and PF2K was like, I don't really want to buff catapults, but then you give Legeia movement speed. Yeah, dang it, PF. You buffed catapults because of Legeia. No, you made them faster. You didn't want to do it, but you did it. Damn you. You buff catapults indirectly. Yeah, definitely Legeia, from my point of view, is definitely gonna be much more picked. Honestly, I like Legeia even before, but this, because of the movement speed, I didn't want it to be because of movement speed. I just don't like it because of movement speed. Oh my god. But yeah, it's a good change. That definitely makes this advisor really good. We'll see how good Legeia will be. Senior Mason Stefanos. New effect. Town centers, guard towers, and fortresses cost 30% less. Let's just say, hey, okay, from 30% stone discount, it's including the wood as well. Making them cheaper overall? Honestly, now that I think about it, we could combine Bardia with Stefanos and suddenly those towers are even cheaper. I was thinking about Borgios, but yeah, Stefanos, oh my god, those town centers, jeez. Jeez. Those those H3 starts could be interesting. Hmm. Yeah, it's just a buff, okay? It's just, hey, now it includes the wood. Nice buff, but we'll see if Stefanos is gonna be picked afterwards. General Ahapitep, new effect, priest units train in 25% less time, cost 25% less, and move 20% faster. So the additional effect here is the movement speed. I don't think the values here got buffed. I think they were always 25%. The movement speed is the new addition. If you're going with priests, you want them to move faster. You want to spam a lot of priests. Yeah, Ahapitep is there for you. Well, I just feel like you're not gonna really pick Ahapitep because Mehrab is just making them stronger. You don't really care about the numbers because caravans are strong. And now with Muikmeron, hey, you get the discount as well. So yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care. It's just Mehrab because stronger priest. So I don't want to say Ahapitep is bad. It's just Mehrab exists, and that makes Ahapitep look bad. Just said about him, okay? Castle Builder Sostrate, but Fortress is built in 40% less time and cost 20% less. So these values were increased by 5% if I remember. That's pretty much it. Hey, you wanna spam fortresses? This is definitely buff for you. Definitely buff for Egyptians if you ask me. Because hey, cheaper fortresses, build them faster, spam those elephants. Nice. Commander Bolgios, same buff pretty much, just 4 towers. Hey, you wanna do some tower building? Build like, hey, what I like to do as Greeks is just go with the towers and build them everywhere. With Darius allowing them to shoot as far as possible. That is quite fun to do sometimes. With this buff, hey, it's gonna be even better for me. I mean, 5% does not seem much, but yeah, those 5% are actually a huge deal here. So definitely do not underestimate this change. Yeah, quite huge. Explorer Piteas buff. All ships cost 25% less and move 20% faster. So Piteas is like one of the free H3 ship advisors. The other two being Batoshi Pip and Amon. Amon giving you range, which works really well with arrow ships and siege boats, while battleship is working really well with fire ships, ram ships. So Piteas was like the one that you wouldn't really pick. Although I liked Peters, but yeah, why would I pick him, right? So with this, all ships cost 25% less, which is a huge discount actually, going from 20%. So yeah, it's 5%, but hey, it's gonna matter. And move 20% faster. This one goes from 10%, if I remember correctly. So that's a huge buff there. Definitely can see him being used with like fire ships where I want them to move faster, go around faster, plus they will be even cheaper. And I think especially ram ships so they can get to the melee range as soon as possible thanks to the movement speed. I think PTS is gonna be, has been nice before, but this is definitely gonna be an interesting option when going like fire ships or ram ships. Maybe the arrow ships with siege boats. Maybe if you go like combination, that can be interesting. But one thing I have to mention, this guy is affecting also merchant transports and fishing boats, okay? So if you're going for water trade, PTS can be a good option as well. So remember him, okay? He's around. You want those merchant transports faster? Good. He's there. Okay, finally, Golden Age. We are like halfway through all of these. Okay, King Agamemnon, buff. All military units have 5% more health and deal 5% more damage. So this goes from 4%, both stats. So it's a small buff. And I'll be honest, I like Agamemnon a lot as an early game option. Hey, you're leveling up, you just reach the Golden Age, finally you are able to use those Golden Age advisors, but you don't really want this Golden Hippicon advisor because Golden Hippicons, what the hell is that? So you want some Golden Age advisor. This is where Agamemnon is really good. Hey, you want your first Golden Age advisor, go to Cyprus, go play one skirmish against Agamemnon. You have a free Golden Age advisor. And it's pretty good advisor for your Golden Age. Like, the stats he grants, okay, they're small values, but for your early questing, it's definitely gonna be big deal. Like seriously, if you have nothing else, definitely big deal. Definitely, Agamemnon is nice there. But otherwise, with the advisor changes we've seen to this point, let's just say Agamemnon looks like really bad advisor. Okay, because it's not that he's bad, it's just the other advisors got so many big buffs that make them super strong, and I just hate how big buffs we have here. I just don't like it, okay? I would love to have like weaker advisors so Agamemnon can be like a solid option. Yeah, it's just, oh my god. It has got out of control if you ask me. But yeah, I like this buff. I think Agamemnon deserves it. Let's move on. Battlemaster Theoconis buff. Infantry units have 15% more health. So yeah, this is the infantry advisor, age 4. And with the advisors the Siths have been getting in age 4, where there is a lot of health buff for the infantry units. Scouts having like Akikorios or Bran or, well, Brenos is not about health, but yeah, Brenos is there. Oh boy, I just, yeah. Then you have like Norse with what's his name, Bjorn, like buffing Spearman plus throwing Axeman. Now we have Teod, which you'll see soon enough. Then we have Biorix. It's just there's so many advisors buffing infantry units' health, or like just dedicated to the specific infantry unit in Golden Age, that why would you even pick Theocolis? There are like only few remaining infantry units where you can pick him, and that's making me sad. Because he's not a bad advisor, it's just the civs are getting so many advisors specific for the infantry units that suddenly this guy is not gonna pick. Why would I pick him? Because I already have better option if I go with this unit. It's just so sad to see this, okay? He's not a bad advisor, it's just there are so many overbuffed advisors for specific units. It's just so annoying to see that. Architect Tycho, okay, buff. Wonders cost 75% less and build in 75% less time. So pretty much, hey, you want those wonders for some specific quest, you're not making it in time, you need help, Tycho is there for you. You want those super cheap wonders, build super fast, this is your advisor, okay? Definitely can help you in some quests, like let's say Fabi. Fabi is perfect example because getting that wonder while also need to defend yourself, yeah, quite annoying there. Or maybe you want to play the skirmish and you build a wonder race so it's just won as soon as possible because you want some specific chance at specific level. Oh boy. Yeah, definitely good advisor there. I mean, most of the times, unless you have good reason to build wonder, you're not really gonna use him, so whatever. Riding Instructor Solon buff. Hippicons gain 20% chance to deal a critical strike, so 5% more. So he's more like so he's a better competition to Apollonius, because Apollonius obviously is like 15% extra attack rate, so DPS output, 15% crit chance is pretty much on average 15% DPS output as well. So making Solon more of a better DPS output here, I can understand that, but again, like 20% is pretty huge deal already. Every fifth attack is critical for Hippicon, just like that if you go solo. But still, Apollonius is so strong advisor, again, because he's legendary. I just feel like we're gonna need a legendary tier. Rather than buffing all of these, I would rather see legendary tier for all of these advisors at this point, because what's the point, right? Some of them, like with all the numbers, already feel like legendary tier to me, which is insane. Okay. Well, anyway, Solon. Okay, buff. Whatever. Whatever. Apollonius still exists. Letter worker Ptolemais. Rework. Toxotai and Gastrofetes ignore 8% of the enemy's armor and are 100% more resistant to splash damage. And this is something I wanted. God damn, I wanted my Gastrofetes to actually have the ignore armor, and I didn't want the piercing frost arrows. Because god damn, they're stupidly strong. Ignore armor is stupidly strong because it affects buildings, and like that 1% is actually 4% extra damage against buildings. So yeah, I seriously dislike the piercing frost that they exist. Either remove the range or remove the damage. I would say that it would make more sense to me to have those. But yeah, back to this advisor. I seriously wanted Gastrofetes to have the ignore armor. Why? Because I read somewhere on the internet that Gastrofetes, the belly bow, was actually able to like pierce through the armor. So it would make sense if portion of the damage ignored the armor. Why not have the ignore armor on Gastrofetes? So definitely like that Gastrofetes is getting this, but I'm unhappy that it's happening after the piercing frost arrows. I just feel like piercing frost arrows need a huge nerf. Either remove the range or remove the damage. That's what I say. But yeah, the 8% means 32% extra damage against buildings, which is nice. Definitely like it with Gastrofetes. For Toxotes, I mean 32% damage against buildings versus 30% DPS from Alexander. Yeah, with Toxodes, you're obviously gonna pick Alexander because it's still gonna be better damage output for you. But for Gastroferes, hey, you want the maximum damage output? This is your advisor now. And I would say the resistance to splash damage is rather a nice bonus to some scenarios. I can imagine a few scenarios, but it's gonna be nice. Hopefully not losing that many Gastroferes from one catapult. Yeah, definitely nice thing. So yeah, I definitely want to go with Gastroferes with this advisor more. Because before, I mean, I would just go with Boudica. Boudica is still really good with Gastroferes, but hey, if you just want the damage output, you just have this option here now. So definitely, I like this rework. Seghead's Elephant Whisper buff. Elephant archers cost 30% less, attack 30% faster. So the difference here is that the discount is now also including the food. That's pretty much it. It's like, okay, food, I mean, come on, you shouldn't be losing that many ranged units. So anyway, the discount is not gonna make it that huge difference, but because they are Golden Age, it's definitely easier to get the elephant archers out with this. So it's definitely a buff. So we'll see how huge this is, but I don't think it's gonna be that huge. Warlord Vercingetorix rework. All Celtic units deal 25% more of their base bonus damage. This one will need a little bit more explanation how it works. And for this, we're gonna use the unit builder. So, okay, let me click this. It says 25% more of the base bonus damage. Now, if we take a look at some units, I'm just gonna add bowman. I'm gonna add, like, let's say spearman. Sorry, this one. We're gonna add. Let's go with swordsman. So, with this advisor, okay. So what does it mean, the base bonus damage? If you take a look at the units, go down to their stats, you can see, hey, they have like some DPS, they have some bonus against something. Okay, so the base bonus damage means, hey, if I have bonus damage over here, that means I will do the 25% more damage. Like, for example, for spearman, I'll do 25% more damage against cavalry. In case of longswords, I'll do 25% more damage against infantry. In case of bowmen, there is no bonus damage over here, so that means, hey, I do nothing. I do nothing extra. That's how it works. Now, obviously, we have, like, let's say gear or let's say upgrades. So what happens if we have the upgrades? Okay, we do 25% more damage against cavalry, but will we do more damage against buildings? The answer is no, because this is not a base stat. This is actually, you get something from a tech. It's not part of the basic stats. So if you get a tech, you won't suddenly do additional 25% damage against buildings. You won't. And one good reason is because it's actually hard coded that it's specifically for this damage type for this specific unit. Okay, it's just hard coded there. Or rather, PF2K had to go and write down all the full list. So yeah, longswords will do extra damage against infantry, but if I give them the Ishtar sword, they won't do extra damage to ranged units. They won't do that, okay? Spearmen, I give them the champion upgrade, they won't do extra damage against buildings. They will do extra damage against cavalry, not against buildings. Bowmen, because they have no bonus damage, they will do no extra damage against anything. You can give them something like, what is it? Amenhotep? No. Theseus? You can give them Theseus and have the bonus against infantry here, but they will not do extra against infantry with Vercingetorix. That's how it works, okay? So yeah, take a look at the unit's base stats. If they have bonus damage there, then that damage should be increased with Vercingetorix. If they have no bonus, or like this specific bonus, they won't get the extra effect from him. That's how it works. Hopefully this explains. And remember, this is all Celtic units. So if you convert a unit, it won't work on that unit. Because it's, like I said, it's hard-coded for that, for those specific units. It's all Celtic ones. I don't know, can we actually... Will that actually work? Vercingetorix. See? Buildings stayed same. Against cavalry, it changed. So yeah, there you have it. So yeah, is this gonna be a good advisor? Well, honestly, we have to take a look at all the Celtic units that we could be using. So if we take a look, Carpentom, most likely not, because hey, we have Commentorius. Bowman definitely not, because no bonus there. Champion, no bonus there. Druid, if you wanna hurt the Huntables. Horseman, I mean, you still have Commentorius. Longswordsman. The question is, do you wanna do more damage against infantry, or do you wanna get 30% more health from Akikorios? Ram, if you want your rams to be faster at destroying buildings, that is definitely an option. Slingers, killing ranged units faster. Or do you want the crit damage, which is most likely going to be better option. So again, most likely not. Spearman, if you want to kill the enemy cavalry faster. Definitely useful in like Memphis. That can work there really nicely. Stone throwers, if you want to do the extra damage against buildings, sure, it's there. But then why would I go with this when I can go with Timo and have the extra 25% attack rate? So definitely not with stone throwers. Swan ships have no bonus. Wolf traders, I mean killing ranged units. Siege, priest. I mean they already are killing it. Why would I pick or rather, why would I pick Vercingetorix over Bran? That's the good question. Okay, and I think that's all the units. Yeah, that's all the units. So from what we saw, the only options that came to mind where we could use him are Rams and Spearman. So that's my problem with the advisor. There are only 2 units where we can use him. And in case of Spearman, I would rather have the extra health because their health is much lower. So this is the one time I would pick Theocolis over Vercingetorix. So from my point of view, this change, although it's nice, I just feel like nobody is really gonna pick him because there's no reason to pick him. Because again, we have those specific advisors that are giving better buffs to those specific units. Here we go again, exactly. So from my point of view, it's a nice buff, but nope, not picking him. Okay, Mark Anthony buff. Gallic Horseman deal 20% more damage, train in 10% less time. So the train time is there as an addition. If you ask me, it's a nice buff because Gallics take quite a long time, but if you remember, hey, there's Octavius in H2, which affects all the Auxilia camp units. So, and there's already 20% going down. So another 10% down. It's nice, but hey, we already have the train time reduction there. Come on. But yeah, even with that, their training time is quite high. So I can definitely understand why additional training time can be nice here. So from my point of view, definitely nice buff, but I wouldn't say it was that necessary. Siege Engineer with True Wheels, rework. Scorpios attack 25% faster and deal 25% more damage. Oh boy, it's just we need Scorpios to do a lot more damage. Okay. I'll be honest, I would rather have the range and keep the Gladios because goddamn, I like Scorpios once in a while. Now I don't have the extra range, but hey, it's definitely easier to go with some frontline because we can pick Gladius. Scorpios will be cheaper to train, which is a nice thing. They won't be fast, they won't have the range, but if I put some good meat shield in front of them, like let's say legionaries, they are actually costing less food, so I don't have to sacrifice that much population space for the villagers on food. Okay, it can somehow work. We'll see. But like having more than 50% extra DPS on Scorpios from one advisor is jeez. It's a lot. Do I like this change? I mean, I'm happy if I don't see the range. So from my point of view, definitely nice. But then hey, it's just going more into the range builds. So yeah, something good, but something bad as well. Oh boy. Moving on. General Zoo buff. Royal Guards are 40% more resistant to bonus damage, cost 25% less. This just buffing the discount. I am definitely happy if the Royal Guards can become cheaper because they cost a lot, so sure, I don't mind this. But I just wanna see how cheap I can make them now. But yeah, I like this buff, why not? Grand Chef Bjorn buff. Spearman and Throwing Axeman have 20% more health and deal 20% more damage. I definitely like this Spearman Throwing Axeman build with the Piercing Frost pieces of gear, where it definitely works really well. Definitely wanna get the Piercing Frost axe to make this work, okay? Otherwise, this can be harder to make it work. It can work, but it's just not gonna be that good because Throwing Axeman not having the range, yeah, that can kinda hurt. So I definitely like this buff because let's just say it's not the fastest build, okay? It's definitely not the fastest. So any buff to this I can truly appreciate. So having the extra damage for my Throwing Axeman is nice. Having extra health for Spearman, I don't really feel like I needed it, but okay, it's there. Definitely should do more of these once in a while. Haven't done that for a while now. But I was able to beat Clusium with this build. Damn. I wonder how this one is gonna work out then. Okay, Shield Maiden Ingrid, rework. Raiders deal 20% more damage and have 20% more health and gain a 20% chance to deal a critical strike. Oh boy, so pretty much from health regen and 50% crit chance, we've gone to this. Like, again, a lot of numbers for one unit. Oh boy. I'll be honest, I was checking this for Raiders. So we can take a look at Raider and like with Ingrid, if we put the right pieces of gear, some interesting ones. I compare this to the Horseman, and actually I was surprised how close they are to each other. I'm not gonna include the milestones here because both of them are getting those. I just wanna like compare the gears. Okay, instead of you, we have Finulfer. Okay, we can get those upgrades. Okay, I'm gonna add in one more with Zahak as a comparison. And this is what I feel like, okay? If we include the fact that we are getting 20% crit chance, that means that Raiders actually do more damage than like Horsemen with this build, but slightly less than this Horseman. So it's like between these two. So you can tell Raiders with Ingrid, just wow, this is actually very comparable. Remember, this is Legendary Advisor, so this is quite comparable. And I need to mention this guy got nerfed, so soon we can compare that. But yeah, like having these raiders, remember, they are cheaper, they are faster, they train faster, so it's definitely easier to get them out. And they have like quite comparable DPS. Health wise, they are slightly lower, but because of the speed, I wouldn't really care. So, from my point of view, Raiders with Ingrid, again, because of the huge stat values from Ingrid, have become much more viable. And I definitely want to go more with the Raiders now. I just want to see more of them, okay? Definitely. I'm not a huge fan that we are putting again so many stats on one advisor, but I definitely want to see this in action. Okay, I like Raiders. For me, like for how effective they are for one pop unit in general, like you don't need legendary advisor. They are like, I'm just sad they are not used that often. Okay, it's just they're good unit, but because most quests you just see walls with 30,000 health. It's so annoying. I just want to see less walls sometimes. So I just can go with raiders, destroy the villagers. I want to see that, okay? But yeah, here's a good comparison. Pretty much the DPS is really strong comparable to this. I have to mention, okay, bonus versus range, bonus versus villagers is there. What's really important, snare immunity. Okay, so Spearman will not slow them down, and with this speed, look at this speed. They're quite fast, so definitely want to see more action with the Raiders after this. And yeah, like the cost is like a huge factor here. If you ask me, like 50% less food, like even more than 50%. Like, that's huge. I have to say, horsemen still have advantage, like bonus versus cavalry, which is, I would say, bigger threat than ranged units. They also get the bonus versus buildings, which helps them to deal with the walls. That's a nice thing. Plus, they destroy siege faster. That's another nice thing. Plus, with the piece of gear you put on them, hey, you can have like the ignore armor, you can have health regen. Yeah, sure. But obviously, the nerf to the Finilfur definitely hurt them. So I definitely want to see more Raiders. I want to see how they work out. Personally, I like Raiders a lot. So I definitely want to see them in action. I just hate, again, stats for one unit. Moving on, King Teo, rework. Chief has 50% more health, regenerates 15 health every second, and grants an additional 15% health to nearby friendly units. So yeah, King Teo went from 10% damage for Berserks to buffing Chief a lot. So more health, obviously good thing. Regen, 15 health. That's just a lot. I mean, come on. You could just keep him behind. Okay, now you don't have to put Rapsol together with him, so he would heal your units. I'm not really sure if this is like adding it or multiplying it. If it's multiplying, then it's bad. But it should be adding it. And if it's 15%, that means it goes from 20% to 35%. That's actually a huge deal, if you ask me. The issue I have, what do you use this with? Because remember, this is adding 15%, which is like a little bit over 10% extra health for those units around you. So, for example, if I had to go with Spearman throwing Axeman, I would rather pick Bjorn because I'm already getting 20%. If I go with Berserks, I would rather pick Bjorix. So the only thing remaining are all the other units. Definitely not Raiders. Definitely not Horsemen. So the only thing remaining are like Far Beholders, Hardjars, Ulf headings, but there's still Vemunder, right? Vemunder, how much does he give? 30%. Okay, Vemunder still wins. So either you need like the mixture of these units, or you're going hard jars. That's the only time I would use Teot, like going hard jars. And I need some backline for those. And that's most likely gonna be lock throwers. And I would rather have Timo, so I can. So from my point of view, Teot is really good advisor, but again, I need something else to actually make my build work, and Teot in most cases is not gonna be that good. Again, oh my god, good advisor, but I need something else. Okay, Sargon, we're getting on to the legendary advisors now. Nerf. War chariots and chariot archers attack 30% faster and farther. War chariots gain +1 area damage. So war chariots getting +1 area damage, before it was 2. Everything else is the same. Now why is this being nerfed? It's because war chariots got the buff. Remember at the beginning. I know it's been a while, but yeah, it's been there. So that's the reason. It's just to balance it a little bit. And I definitely agree with this. Okay, moving on. Rostam, Guardian of the Land. Rework. Asabara have 20% more health, deal 20% more damage. Mounted archers attack 30% faster and attack and see 30% farther. So, what changed actually? Mounted archers, the attack rate and attack range with line of sight has been increased from 20% to 30%. Since mounted archers don't really have that huge range, I mean, this is a nice buff to them, if you ask me. And it's definitely a good combo, like Asabas plus mounted archers. It's a nice combo. But one thing you need to notice is that this also affected Takabaras. So Takabaras are relieved from this. And remember, but Takabaras got the buff to their base range, which went from 15 to 20. And if we had Rostam included here, Takabaras would be just insane. Those would be stupidly insane with how much range they can get. Remember, you have the range. Now you're getting 20% more from the archery range tech. You get 20% more from the champion upgrade. You get 30% more from War Academy tech. And then we can include as well gear. And that's a lot of range you can get on them. So, from my point of view, I'm happy they got excluded, because otherwise that would be insane. But still, it is gonna be insane, because even though they lose 20% range, they still get 33% more range, because they went from 15 to 20. So overall, they will have more range, which is insane to me. So definitely happy they got removed. I like the mounted archers. I would love to use more mounted archers, but I'm not a Persian player these days that much. And although, yeah, okay, I've been trying them more often, but I kind of dislike it because I was going with immortals and yeah, nothing going with the cavalry here. So yeah, I definitely want to see more mounted archers. I don't know if I'll go with them though. But yeah, this is rather a balance thing than just changing Rostam. Moving on. Aristocrat Apollonius. Additional effect. Cavalry units have 50% more health, attack 15% faster, and are 20% more resistant to pierce damage. This is the same effect from before, so no difference here. The change here is Psychosaurus deal 100% more damage and can attack 100% farther. I mean, seriously, are we doubling the Psychosaurus damage? Okay. Let's just say Psychosaurus have like this one big issue. They are like early units that you use against ranged units, which they do a really good job, to be honest. They have really good damage. The thing about them is they attack very slow. They have very slow attack. So it's like they get close enough, they attack, then you have like 4 seconds before they attack again. Something like that. I don't know the exact values, how long it takes them, but yeah, it takes them forever to like attack again. So having this 100% extra damage makes them like, with the attack range included actually, this makes them more hit and run, and this is gonna actually hurt a lot. And I'm not even joking. If we take a look at the size of it, their damage output is actually not that bad. Let's see. So what I've been using on them for this point was like this: Rostam, Garshasp, Master Assassin. That's perfect. Then we go Polonius. We get them all the upgrades. So that's what I've been using. Okay, hang on. Let's remove Apollonius. So these are the stats. Obviously, I'm not including milestones. But yeah, look at these stats. Okay, 42 DPS. That's not that huge. But if I had to include like milestones, it would be easier to get like 250 DPS. For 2 pop units, that's pretty bad. Remember, this is pierce damage, but also remember that the attack rate is very slow. So even though it looks like 50 DPS, that one attack would do a lot of damage. And now we include Apollonius, and suddenly we are over 100 DPS. And that's the pierce damage, okay? So against buildings, it's still gonna be bad. We have 14 range. So that's actually quite huge, because now it's better than what Peltas had. So that's gonna be quite obvious. And I would say this makes for Psychosaurus like good unit to put like let's say you get few of those to support your melee units, your Hippicons, for example. This can be a nice thing. Why? Because hey, sometimes there are spearmen in the enemy army, right? And you want to kill them. Guess what? Spearmen don't have base pierce armor, and this is where Psychosaurus is actually quite good, because they do pierce damage. So with the extra range, they don't have to get too close. They can actually out micro the spearmen, and with the damage, with the very low attack rate, means they're gonna do a lot of damage. And if it applies the crit, oh boy. And that's with the Garshasp. I need to, let's put in Ashoka. Ooh, that's just a lot of damage. Well, what's the disadvantage here? They still do bad damage against buildings, which is kind of sad. But because of their very high pierce armor, I would be afraid to get them a little bit closer and soak some damage. I mean, it's pretty good actually. So I definitely want to see this in action somehow, some way, and maybe not even with Sinue, but maybe with like Curse of the Archer, maybe even the Ice King. Still 120 DPS is a lot, putting it to more like 16.6. Yeah, definitely it's gonna make Psychosaurus a much more interesting choice. I still feel like, because you want to destroy buildings, oh boy, not good idea to use Psychosaurus, because obviously this is gonna go down to 1/5, which is like 24 DPS. So definitely they will be unit slayers. For building destroyers, definitely not. But it helps, definitely. So definitely want to see more Psychosaurus in action, and we'll see how it works out. But yeah, remember, some units have really huge pierce armor, so yeah, still don't want to use them against siege, okay? Don't do that. Okay, moving on. Capri's Coin Curator buff changes War Elephants' cost to all gold, but increases their health by 12% and reduces their train time and movement speed by 10%. So the difference here is 2% more health here. That's the all difference here. Personally, I don't like Capri's Coin Curator overall, but like 2% extra health, I don't know if that's gonna make me go Capri's Coin Curator. I feel like, from my point of view, this is like one of my least favorite legendary advisors, definitely. she's interesting, but I wouldn't say it's something I would want to go with. So yeah, personally, I don't care. So it's a small buff. Someone might like it. I don't really care. Moving on, Princess Ostrich buff. Priest of Ptah convert units 50% faster and from 50% farther. Priests of Set inflict chaos in an area. Temples of Set and Ptah cost 50% less. So before it was actually today's hotfix, it was actually 70%, and oh boy, that was insane. I swear I wanted to try it in Elite Meet and Greet, and oh boy, I was surprised I was actually able to complete a quest. I actually did beat it with Priest of Ptah. It was insane, but I needed the Staff of the Ice King to use this together because goddamn, 70% faster conversion rate with Mehrab's 20% and then Ice King's 77% against Siege. Boy, it was wonderful watching the enemy Siege getting converted like almost instantly. That was such a nice thing to see, nice thing to watch. It was beautiful. But yeah, definitely needed the nerf. I still feel like 50% is a lot. If I remember, Ptah has the base conversion 12 seconds, right? So that means it goes down to 6 seconds, down to 4.8 with Mehrab. Okay, so let's put it here. Wait. This is... Oh yeah, this is the old one. These are the values before the nerf. Okay, so let's exclude this. Yeah, 4.8 seconds it is now, which is actually still low number if you ask me. And not to mention days goes down to 12 seconds. So imagine converting enemy units in 5 seconds, which is actually doubled because of the enemy elite units. For some, I don't know why, but elite units actually have increased conversion resistance, but it's not shown anywhere in their stats, which is so weird. So I guess I can go with these values. So imagine converting elite armies in 10 seconds. That's actually insane. And then you convert the buildings in 12 seconds. So that's definitely insane thing to see, and I definitely want to see how Celeste is gonna work out in those quests where you can train converting priests. Now there's also the buff to the Priest of Set, inflicting chaos in an area, which is actually a fun thing to see because Priest of Set is one of the priests with longest ranges. I think it's only second behind the... what's the name of the Roman priest? It's Pontifex, I think. Let me check. Yeah, Pontifex. So yeah, Set is like second behind it, but it's I think 60 range. I think you can get over 60 range with Set, or at least you could. I think you should be able to get at least 50. So with area of effect chaos with that, that's actually interesting effect. Now, one thing I have to say, Set has advantage with the chaos effect over the conversion is that you don't really need free population space to actually convert the units or make them insane, as you like to call it, but I'm just gonna call it conversion. So Priest of Set advantage, no need for the free space, which is a nice thing for them, plays really well into them. And yeah, more units to fight against the enemy, but guess what? They will be fighting yours as well. But the advantage is that they will be weaker. So with this, you might be able to just put few Priests of Set into your army, make them start converting the enemy units. And if the fight is taking long enough, hey, suddenly they are insane and you can easily just destroy them with when they have no gear. So I definitely want to see this. And one advantage of Priest of Set is they are actually not counted as converting priests. So you can use Set in quests where you cannot train converting priest. So this actually gives Sesostris some usage in quests where converting priests are forbidden. And you can use Priest of Set for that reason. So definitely, I want to try out this Priest of Set especially, because this is just straight powerful converting priest. That's what I'm gonna say. But Priest of Set, definitely interesting choice. Definitely want to see this in action. Okay, moving on. Sobek Spear Sharpener buff. Spearmen, Axemen, and Slingers have 60% more health, train in 30% less time, and move 30% faster. So I don't really care that Slingers are included here. What I truly hate is, why does this advisor got a buff? I mean, seriously. It was doing really well before with just the 50% health and the 25% for the other stats. It was doing really well. You could beat easily 5-star quests with this. I just don't see a reason why this advisor needed a buff. I just don't see the reason. Okay, we added Slingers. I'm not against it. I don't really care because I'm still gonna use catapults. Why? Bigger rocks. That's why. I just don't know why he's got buffed. Why? He didn't need it. He didn't need it. I'm just, why? Why? That's the whole question here. Why? Moving on. War Chief Commandorius buff. Horsemen and Carpetons deal 30% more damage, have 30% more health, and deal 60% bonus damage against buildings. So, if I remember, this is 5% more health and damage here, the buff. I don't really care, to be honest. It's a small buff, let's be honest. It's gonna be useful, but honestly, I don't really care. I just feel like even before, even now, it's pretty good advisor. So I don't really care about this. It's still gonna be okay advisor to use. Let's move on. Pompey the Great buff. All military units are 30% more resistant to bonus damage and deal 10% more damage. So pretty much what happened here, this one actually got increased by 5%, which is reverting the old nerf where the Roman legendary advisors got nerfed. And for some reason Pompey got nerfed, which I never understood why he got nerfed in the first place. So this is just a revert to that. And I'm okay with that, because I just don't understand why he got nerfed in the first place. He was not really... I wouldn't say he will be the #1 choice for you as a legendary advisor. And to be honest, I don't know why he got nerfed in the first place, because it didn't feel like he would be like super strong advisor overall. Like I would say that like Crassus still needs a nerf. I would say Caesar right now is okay, but like Crassus, I still feel like he needs nerfs. But Pompey got nerfed, and I never understood why. So yeah, here you have it. It's back. Horselord Finulfer nerf. Horsemen cost 1 less population, have 20% more health, and deal 30% bonus damage against buildings. So the nerf here is, I think it was from 35%. I think that's the correct number. So the health has been reduced by 15%, and the bonus damage has been further reduced by 5%, which originally was 50%, if you remember. I mean, yeah, Norse Horseman really strong advisor. Or Norse Horseman really strong with this advisor. Honestly, I don't feel like they needed a nerf at this point, because one thing I dislike about the Horseman is how expensive they can actually be, especially if you're losing them a lot. You need actually like a lot of them to actually make them useful. But if they are dying too fast, which actually could mean like, hey, there might not be that many quests where they are dying that often. But hey, if it happened, very expensive. So I kind of understand why they got nerfed. I just feel like they didn't need that much nerf for both of those stats. I feel like the 35% damage against buildings was fine. Health, I can understand why it went down, but straight 15%, I would go down to 25% health, not 20. We'll see how Phil will hold on now, but definitely he's not as broken as he was before. So definitely looking forward to that. Now this one, War Leader Biotics, nerf. Berserkers cost 10% less, move 10% faster, and have 10% more health. Now I'm gonna say this is my least favorite change that has happened in this whole advisor rework batch or whatever you want to call it. And seriously, if you're looking at these numbers, you don't look at these numbers because they are literally the same numbers they were before. You don't really see the nerf here. And I seriously hate that it got removed here. It's the 100% more damage for chiefs. And I seriously hate it. Because it was my favorite thing about this advisor. Because I like those chiefs smashing buildings. I like those chiefs smashing enemy units. That one critical hit doing 1000 damage. Damn, I miss it now. I want it back. Give it back! Come on! This is the worst one. This is the worst one. 100%. I hate this. Biorix is bad now. Come on. 100% damage for Chiefs. No, this is bad. This is bad. I hate this. I hate this. This is bad. Moving on, because goddamn, I would have to stay here and keep saying it's bad forever. This is the worst. Biorix is not happy about this. I'm telling you. Moving on, Macro the Man Median. Rework. Shield bearers have 50% more health and deal 50% bonus damage against buildings. Bowmen deal 75% more damage. I'm gonna say before it was 25% bonus damage against buildings for all units. Guess what? Didn't get picked. Why? Because guess what? There are so many advices for specific units. And the other units will not really pick this. Because you're not really gonna go with the other units because they are not that good. And now we're getting this rework, which gives shield bearers 50% more health. Okay, there will be good meat shields, but I need to put something behind them. What am I gonna put behind them? Could be war chariots, could be chariot archers, but why would I do that when I have Sargon? Could be mounted archers. Why would I do that when I can go lancers plus mounted archers with Nebuchadnezzar advisor? So definitely not happening. So that means I have to go with something from the archery range, which means I can go with slingers, which got the buff to their range, but their damage is terrible. And why would I want to combine slingers with shield bearers that already soak a lot of pierce damage, plus with the extra health here, they soak even more. So definitely not happening. Or I can go with the bowmen, which makes sense because they actually get the bonus damage. But guess where the problem actually lies? Those bowmen actually have like really terrible range because their base range is only 15. So having a lot of bowmen is gonna be quite bad because you need to like spread them so they can actually attack. So that's one thing that's real bad. Okay, they have a lot of damage, but still, Jesus, you need them to get close, and then your shield bearers need to take damage. And then I'm gonna ask you, how the hell are you gonna take care of the enemy cavalry units? How the hell are you gonna take care of the enemy siege units? That means you need to add something. What are you gonna add? That's what I'm gonna ask. And that's what I mean. Like, why would I go with this when I have some other better options? Like, literally, why would I go shield bearers when I can go sappers? I can go royal guards. I can go lancers. Why would I go with shield bearers with terrible damage, which are literally just meat shields that soak a lot of pierce damage, and then just add bowmen that are just slaying infantry, but they have terrible range. So even if I have a lot of them, it's gonna be terrible because I need them to get close enough. And if there's one stupid catapult firing at them, that's a death. Okay. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be completely that bad, but I'm just gonna say, why would I go with this? Why would I do this to myself? Why? Okay, I like shield bearers as a meat shield, but because we have so overbuffed advices for ranged units, why would I go with this? That's my problem with this. It's a lot of stats. I'm just gonna say it's not gonna be that good as it looks. But we'll see, we'll see. Moving on, Commander Esfandia, reward, Ionic Bloodline now grants 25% health and 25% bonus damage protection from 50% bonus damage protection. So basically part of the Kyanite Bloodline's bonus damage protection tech has become assured health, which is a defense that is always happening, which is something I like. That is something I truly like. Because now it's not just against those specific units, or in some cases those specific quests where the enemy units have those bonus damage multipliers. So definitely I like this change because now it works at least partially against everything. That's a good thing. This upgrade is now quite useful, can make for some good beefy immortals as a front line. Could be interesting choice in some cases. Adding some backline like, I don't know, Palintonons. We can add war wagons as well. That can be an interesting choice. Adding some siege units and immortals will be soaking the damage. Why not? That can work out quite nicely. So definitely good change in my opinion. Now I would love to see a change to the melee crit, where it's gonna be like 25% melee damage and 25% melee critical hit chance. So it's like similar to the other two where it's 2 stats instead of 1. I would like to see that, so it's more like consistent with that. Would be interesting. But then again, if we go 25% damage and 25% critical hit chance, yeah, that would be just straight buff to that. So maybe like 20%, 25%, something like that. But yeah, this is a good change. Okay, and now we got the changes. We've already gone through these. If we want to comment, so the ranged units, the entire ranged range, we have already changed these units range in champion mode, and that has significantly improved these units. Based on community feedback, we are also bringing these changes to PvE. That's about it about the ramps. Similar to anti-ranged ranged units, we are making some changes to ram type units so that they are more similar to the champion mode stats. This change will make ramps far more affordable and usable for players without affecting how strong they are, especially considering that these changes also affect the AI, looking at you annoying little ram in Papfos. Oh boy, yes. Then we got the War Chariot. The Babylonian War Chariot is meant to be a tanky, low DPS, high health unit that slowly whittles down its targets and outclass them in battle. However, we felt that this design has been forced onto the unit a bit too much. So we are making some adjustments to keep this design but make it a bit less extreme. I'm just gonna say it's straight buff to the war chariots no matter what, because if you can micro them, melee units will never hit you. And if ranged units are hitting you, doesn't matter because you have even more health against the pierce damage. And I guess the siege is like the only thing that can hit you, but because again they are fast, they can dodge, plus the champion upgrade makes them do more damage to the siege. so they can destroy the siege quite fast. So I definitely am looking forward to using more war chariots. Okay, Royal Guard. While Royal Guards become absolute beasts after the champion upgrade, getting a gigantic DPS buff, we felt that the debuff they get versus buildings makes them a little weak in quests, particularly legendary quests. So we are reducing the amount of debuff to my champion mode. I'll be honest, in normal repeatable quests, definitely you wouldn't really care about this, but in legendary quests it did matter, so definitely a change. Whereas Asabara are the generalist cavalry unit of the Persians, the Cataphracts are specialized tanky anti-siege and anti-infantry units. This change aims to push them a bit more in that direction. Yeah, okay. Okay, now new things that's supposed to come soon enough. Gear dismantle and legendary materials. So basically we have the basic workshops creating these basic materials, and then we have the advanced workshops creating these advanced materials. And if you remember, the materials go up to epic only. So the advanced workshops had like this one slot always empty. So that's where these materials are coming in. They're gonna fill this slot. And the dismantler is gonna be this nice building where you put a piece of gear and you're gonna dismantle it and you're gonna get materials from it. Now, what we have said here. The gear dismantler is an effort to make more use of the useless legendary gear that players find in their quests by allowing them to dismantle them into different materials. You might have seen similar features in RPG games, such as the salvage mechanic in Diablo. That's true. We also feel like crafting is something that hasn't gotten the love it deserves by the original developers, so we are adding legendary materials to the game that will launch with the Gear Dismantler. Initially, these materials will only be available by dismantling legendary gear, but we are planning to also release their crafting recipes eventually, allowing players to produce them in their workshops. These materials will then later be used for new craftable legendary gear, consumables, blueprints, and more. Stay tuned for more details. We expect to release this feature very soon. Check our Discord for the most up-to-date news. And then surprise, hey, it's a pet. Limo the hamster. It's just a nice hamster, okay? Okay, and that's it. That's all from these changes. We got it. We did it. We got through all of these. I wonder how long this video is gonna be. So, yeah, I did say the winner for H1, which is Odysseus in my book. For Bronze Age, who's gonna be like the winner here? I think Muikmenon is gonna be interesting. Village Elder is gonna be interesting. And then, I mean, let's just say it, Userhead is gonna be really strong here. But if I had to say, probably the best one here, I find Muikmenon with Village Elder, but I think Muikmenon has got it better. Camel Rider is just overbuffed. Overbuffing camels, that's what I feel like, but Muikmenon is the most interesting one in my opinion in the Bronze Age, with Village Elder like a little bit behind him. Then we have the Silver Age here. I would say Howard is quite interesting. Pathanatos, I want Golden Age rather. Gladius is just boring right now. Farzana is stupidly overbuffed. Range attack for siege towers. Hathor is like a small interesting thing. I hate Ligeia. It's just all resources. Ahapitev is like not really gonna use him anyway. So Strateball just small buffs. Piteas got some nice buffs. I'm gonna say Howard. I just feel like this gives me really good reason to start using Harjaus more often. That's what I'm gonna say. It's definitely much more interesting change here. And for the Golden Age, although there are quite a few ones, and I'll be honest, I like Agamemnon getting the small buff, Theocles getting the small buff. But if I had to say, I would say Ptolemais is the interesting one. because it's not as, it does not feel like overbuffing the units that much, because they are already strong. But Gastrafed is like, I like this change. It's definitely like, because I will not use Boudica, that means Gastrafed will be harder to like get the critical number. But if I get a critical number with Ptolemais, I definitely have like really strong, so really strong army. So from my point of view, definitely a good competition to Boudica. So Ptolemais is definitely a good change here, in my opinion. Don't really care. Don't really care. Not caring. Not caring. It's just overbuffing. Small buff. Bjorn. Okay, I like this composition, so I definitely like to see this small buff. Definitely needed. This is overbuffing the raiders. This is like one use thing, and even then I don't really care. Sargon is just a nerf, which is corresponding to the changes to war chart, so I guess Sargon is okay. This is just balancing due to the Takabaras. I'm gonna say I like the change, because hey, I can use the Sarisophore and it still won't feel like that they will be like too monstrous, in my opinion. They will do a lot of damage, sure, but it won't be that monstrous, in my opinion. And since a lot of units starts with pierce damage, they will be, I would love to use them more as a spearman slayers, or some specific units like prodromos, camels could be interesting as well. Yeah, I definitely am looking forward to see what the Sarisophore will do with this, but still, it's like over buffing them, so don't really care. Don't care. I am interested about the Priest of Set, to be honest. I don't really care about the Priest of Thoth, it is just over buffing them, but Priest of Set with AoE chaos, and the fact that I can use Priest of Sets in no converting priest quest is definitely an interesting change here. So definitely I feel like Sesostris is partial winner, at least because of the set, but not because of the ta. Sobek Spear Sharpener, this is just bad straight, because like why? Okay, I don't care about the slingers, but like straight the buffs to the numbers are like, what the hell? Small buff, reverse, nerf. This is the worst change ever. Honestly, over buffing units, like seriously, and still don't really care. Esfandiar is the nice one. Okay, Esfandiar and like these two, and Ptolemais. These are my like favorite Golden Age, because they are worth it. Okay, I guess I can end this here, because Jesus, that's a long video. It's been a while. Oh my god. Let's see, how long am I recording? 2.5 hours. I was hoping it would be 3 hours, but okay. Hey, we're celebrating 500 subscribers with 2.5 hours of changes and advisory works. Oh boy. Yes. If you haven't subscribed already, come on, what are you waiting for? Do it. Press that buttons now. Help me reach that 1K subscribers. Come on. Join us. You want to. Come on. I don't care. But yeah, you want to see more? Make sure to press that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. God dang it. Come on. I'm doing this. Come on. Talking for over 2.5 hours. Come on. A lot of these changes. Just goddamn. Oh boy. Yeah, make sure. Like, subscribe, comment. So, yeah, people find this video. And I'll see you next time. Bye.